So hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today we are going to be talking about sex once again. Not necessarily sex, but today's video I've titled it, Do Your Kids Know Their Vagina and Penis by Name? This is an interesting topic. Yep. Something that we tend to ignore, especially coming from the African family. Do your kids know their vagina and penis by name? I mean, did you, coming from an African home, did you know what your vagina was called? Did you know what your penis was called back in the days? I'm guessing no. Okay. I wanted to share this with you. So yeah, basically you are not alone. All right. If you grew up in a home where vagina and penis were abomination, yes, there are some African homes, vagina and penis were abomination names to mention. You are not alone when your parents quickly change the TV channels immediately when a kissing scene is coming on or someone's about to rip someone's clothes off on the TV. The parents would change the channel and pretend they never saw that. In most homes, especially in Africa, sex talk is a no-go area. Am I lying? Am I lying? Honestly, be honest with yourself. Sex talk is a no-go area in a typical African home. Now, many children grow up trying to figure out things by themselves, and sex is sometimes treated as a hidden treasure. Okay, hidden treasure in a box. I learned about sex at a later stage. A child grows up all curious about exactly what the content of that hidden box is. And since sex is abomination in most African homes, even your teen years, you'll be afraid to open up to their parents when predators make sexual advances because of being afraid of consequences. So even like in your teenage years, you find it difficult to speak to your parents about it. Your parents wouldn't sit you down and say, you know what, let's sit down and have, talk about sex and, body parts and things like that. These are the kind of conversations that, they tend to avoid. So when a child, for example, is bold enough to report sexual abuse, they are sometimes written off as a spoiled kid because the perpetrator is trusted more than the victim. I hope that line makes sense. What I've written down is that sometimes when a child reports being sexually abused or anything like that, the perpetrator is trusted more than the victim because it's something that they don't want to deal with. It's something that they don't want to talk to the child about, and in a way the child wouldn't know what is wrong or what is right in that sense. I mean, someone forcing you to have sex, Anyway, some students get excited in school during reproduction classes or biology classes. It was a relief the mystery box is finally going to be opened. Only place they can ask questions or talk about genitals without being shut down or feeling guilty is in the classroom. So the sad realization is that most of us grow up with little or no knowledge about our own bodies, which is quite true. I mean, I grew up, I didn't know much. Honestly, let's be real. I didn't really know much about sex and things like that. I had to learn it as I grew up. So penises and vaginas were referred to as private parts. Okay, so when they are abused, we assumed it should be regarded as a private part of our lives. Do you get that? Okay. As parents, do you ask yourself the hard question, do your kids know their bodies well enough? Do they know parts and how it's used? Knowledge is first step to morality, and we grew up never having the confidence to talk about sex with our parents. And this has become difficulty doing some with our children. We almost feel shy, how funny we will look in their eyes when we begin an open conversation about sex. Virgin, married, and no idea what to do. So you're a virgin, for example, you're married and you have no idea what you are doing with your partner because your parents haven't sat you down to have that conversation with you. And as a Christian, you usually wait till you get married to have that kind of sexual, and if you don't have that information before you get into your marriage, that can also cause a huge frustration as well. So if you've not had that kind of conversation with your parents and you're entering into marriage, obviously counseling is there. Do your own research of the body parts and the kind of sex and intimacy and things like that, to prepare yourself and your mind and your body before you get married. So it's never too early to give your children sex education. You've not had it doesn't mean you should feel the same. You know how that made you feel, so you shouldn't be shy about it, to talk about it to your own children as well. In this modern world of internet as well, there's a lot of false information, like Eve in the garden, the serpent of social media crawls into their closet to feed apples of false knowledge. So even the internet too doesn't always give you the whole truth. So being educated on sex by peers and media, it's not really what you want, honestly. What you don't teach them, others will wrongly do so. So you can't rely on social media and your kids' friends to be teaching them about sex. If you don't teach them, somebody will wrongly teach your child about sex, which can end in pretty deep consequences. So this is where we have to start. Education starts at home. We need to seriously dig into that. Parents should learn to consciously give children sex education. Mention the penis and the vagina by its name instead of calling it private parts, or instead of calling it sausage, or instead of calling your wee wee. Mention it penis and vagina because that's what it's called. Teach them physical and spiritual consequences of premarital sex. Okay, sex being legal after they are married, no one has right to touch them. Okay, sex education on clothes, their shyness in children. They open up and discuss things with you when you approach your children and openly talk to them about sex. If they're going to something, they'll easily come to you and start a conversation rather than hide it and be going to the wrong people for information. So when they know what sex, when they know about sex, they will know what rape is and when to report. Okay, so teach them to mention those in their local dialect. It is a way of boosting confidence as well. So if there's any other languages that you speak, obviously an African language, you can, tree, for example, tre is your vagina, and also, is it kote? Yeah, it's the penis. In Ewe, your vagina is kolo, and then your penis is ava. Is it ava? Something like that. So yeah, make sure you have these uncomfortable conversations with your children before they head into distraction and being taught wrongly by the wrong people. As uncomfortable as it is, this kind of conversation has to be had. Yeah, and I hope you guys get there, but do not ignore it because it can cause severe consequences as well. So I hope that you guys relate to that. Make changes. If you didn't get it information when you were growing up, try and change that sphere in your family home and allow your kids to open up to you and have that conversation with them. All right, guys, once again, I'm out of time and I am going to be coming back next week with more juicy information for you guys. So if you have anything you want me to cover that I haven't covered, let me know. Let me know what topics you want me to cover. Let me know any info that you have that will help me too. Yeah, feel free, drop it in the section below, and don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you guys soon. Stay blessed.